Am I the asshole for not allowing my employees to keep tampons, pads in our bathroom at work? Little background. I manage a retail store for a relatively smallish company, 70 or so locations. I currently have 2 female employees on my staff in their early mid-20s. I am a male in my early 30s. Yesterday, I found a box of tampons in the bathroom at our store. Our store only has one bathroom, so by default it is our customer-accessible bathroom. Some of our stores, just by nature of whatever the building was used for before we bought them, have employee bathrooms and customer bathrooms, but ours only has one single-person bathroom that is on the sales floor. One of my female employees had left them in the bathroom. I informed her that while there is absolutely nothing wrong with keeping feminine hygiene products at the store, they would need to be kept in the office and could not be kept in the bathroom. She said that she thought that was sexist. I told her that it has nothing to do with the fact that it is a feminine hygiene product, but because it is a personal use product which we don't want to have kept in a bathroom available to our customers, and that if a male or female employee wanted to keep a razor, toothbrush, deodorant, etc. in the bathroom, that it would be prohibited as well. She said that's not the same thing, as those are all personal use products that everyone uses, not just women. My other female employee understands this policy and doesn't see anything wrong with it. The male employees aren't really relevant to the situation, but I would wager that they agree, though I haven't discussed it with them because, again, doesn't seem relevant. The upset female employee, however, finds it to be sexist and wants to discuss it with HR, which I told her I would be more than happy to facilitate a conversation with concerning this. While this is not a documented company policy, I feel as though it's common sense to not keep personal hygiene products in a place customers will be and that HR will agree. I've always had a reputation as being one of the better general managers in our company, especially in terms of low turnover and high employee morale. I don't want my employee to feel as though she's being discriminated against because she's a wonderful person and a great employee, but I just don't see how this is sexist. I can see her point that men don't really have an equivalent male exclusive item, but I don't see how that changes anything in this specific instance. Am I missing something? Edit. I am considering all the feedback, but I just wanted to clarify a couple points relevant to a lot of the responses. 1. This is not a female bathroom, it is a single toilet unisex bathroom. It's the size of a closet and has a toilet and sink. 2. This is not my business, so installing tampon, pad dispensers, which I'd 1000% support, is not remotely my decision. 3. My employee did not intend the tampons for use by customers or other employees. I asked. 4. I'm not objecting to the tampons because I don't understand how periods work or I'm grossed out by them, but because it could really cause problems if an auditor comes in and sees what they will see as a personal use product, left in a public area. Second edit. Just a couple more clarifying points in response to some common questions or not really correct assumptions. This has been a pretty split decision so far. 1. It is a very small store and a very small bathroom. There is no cabinet under the sink or space for a cabinet that could be locked. The only places to put anything really is the floor, on the sink itself, or on top of the toilet. A wall-mounted dispenser or very thin cabinet may work, but I'm not permitted to make changes like that to the facilities. I will bring up the option with our 2. The office is roughly 10 steps from the bathroom at most, they are right next to each other. 3. We have usually 1 or 2 employees on shift at a time. If there is one employee, they are encouraged to place a pre-made bathroom sign on the store's door and lock the door, no questions asked. 4. I will readily admit my examples were not a good comparison and not well thought out. 5. To the people saying I'm an immature misogynist insecure in my own masculinity who's grossed out by menstruation and tampons, you're entitled to your opinion, but I'm just ... I've always been perfectly comfortable with my SOs and female roommates keeping whatever they need wherever they need it, picking up tampons from the store for them, and would have not thought twice about this if we had an employee bathroom. I will update this post after our conversation with HR, which has already been scheduled for tomorrow. Not the asshole. I'm kinda surprised that so many people are saying you're the asshole. I'm a girl. I personally wouldn't want to keep my tampons in a shared public bathroom. Why risk someone else taking the tampons I pay for? Getting your period isn't really a surprise? I mean, maybe at first, but there's no reason why said employee couldn't go get the tampons from somewhere else. I'd offer her some other alternative like a shelf in the back or whatever. I really don't see this in an HR issue. If it weren't a public bathroom with customers, I'd say let her do it, but because virtually anyone could use it, I'd say no. Imagine being stuck in a restroom and there is no toilet paper. It's like that. Then imagine someone offered to store an extra roll there, and you said no. Because only half the population needs toilet paper, and they don't care about the other half, and think they should sneak around about it. You are the asshole. Not the asshole. If it was a private employee bathroom, then I would say you were. But it's not. It's a public bathroom that people shouldn't keep personal things in there. People will take them and use them, and she'll get mad because she intends for them to only be for her. You can't put private stuff you don't want anyone to use in a public place. Not the asshole. As a woman who works in retail, there is no way I would leave my sanitary items in a public bathroom. I have seen the things people do in restrooms, and some of these things are just gross. I wouldn't like the thought of some unknown person possibly playing with my tampons before I use them. Let's face it, yes, they are wrapped, but the packing isn't always the most secure. In any job I've had, I kept my tampons, pads in my purse. When I went to the bathroom, I would just take my purse with me. The public restrooms at my last job had multiple stalls on multiple floors, so I couldn't have left them in there. The janitors would have thrown them away when they cleaned at night. I don't think it's a big deal to just keep them in your purse or your pocket so they are handy. But I agree that his argument, equating a razor to a tampon, is flawed. That's comparing apples and oranges. Not the asshole. She didn't intend for other people to use the tampons, but she wanted to keep them in a public space. I am assuming in plain view? She also did not intend for other people, employees, public, to use them. Lol, this won't work. Either HR is going to say that she can, in which case other people will use said tampons because hello, tampons available in a bathroom mean you can use them, and she'll be mad, or HR is going to say that personal hygiene products should be kept with other personal effects in a purse, bag, etc. I really don't understand all of the a-hole ratings. I've never worked anywhere where I could keep a personal stash of tampons in the washroom. And I can't even remember one place where there was a tampon vending machine either. I'm not sure what's wrong with the staff office suggestion. I mean, sure, you could get your period at work, or in the car, at the mall, on a bus, wherever. It sucks. The easier solution, I think, is a purse or hipsack or whatever. Not like you're going to go stashing tampons everywhere you might go in case you get your period while you're there. And she didn't even intend on sharing? Also, it sounds like you were very nice about things. Not the asshole. You are the asshole. I'm not sure why you are taking issue with this. You are acting as if tampons are offensive. I would imagine half of your customers are also women, and might even appreciate being able to use one in an emergency. Your example of other hygiene products makes no sense. Of course, employees shouldn't keep their razors or toothbrushes in the bathroom. Those are grooming products that they don't need to use during work. But tampons are products you need to use while using the restroom, and while you are working. Am I the asshole for telling my sister it was dumb of her to expect to keep the same lifestyle post-divorce? My 35 female sister, 40 female, is going through a divorce. It's actually pretty straightforward. No major nastiness or drama. But divorce still sucks for everyone involved, and it's sad that it has to happen. My sister initiated, and I don't blame her. My ex-brother-in-law wasn't such a great partner, but he's not a horrible person and he's a good dad to the kids. So basically everything, assets and kids, gets split down the middle. And they were ordered to sell their house and split the money, which for some reason, my sister wasn't expecting, even though there was never any reason to believe she had more right to the house than he did. So now they're each living in separate apartments, nice ones, but obviously not as spacious as the house. And my sister has had to increase her hours at work. My ex-brother-in-law makes a comfortable living, but not enough to support two households. And anyway, I think because the custody is an even split, he doesn't actually owe child support. So yeah, it's meant a definite downgrade in lifestyle, though by no means is anyone here poor or struggling. Just more financially tight than before. So my sister has been complaining a lot about the unfairness of it all, and I do sympathize. Divorce is majorly stressful and she's going through a lot right now. And I wouldn't if it was just venting about the stress, but she goes on about how she was wronged, done dirty by the courts, it was all just unfair. And honestly, that's just not true. It can suck, but nothing unfair happened. I finally snapped and told her so the other day. I said, did you really expect to keep up the same lifestyle post-divorce? Divorce is expensive and screws up everyone's finances, and it was dumb of her to expect to continue the same lifestyle afterwards. Needless to say, she's pissed, and so are my parents, who said I shouldn't have kicked her while she's down. That really wasn't my intention, though I see how she might feel that way. Anita, for what I said? Edit. Thanks for all the thoughtful answers, of all judgments. I just want to clear up a few things. First of all, my ex-brother-in-law was not abusive and not a cheater, but he was not a good partner, for a bunch of reasons. My sister has been venting to me about him for years, and I don't blame her at all for initiating, and I'd appreciate if people don't judge her for it. It wasn't an abusive situation, so I get that others might have chosen to stick it out till the kids were grown, but I also get why she didn't want to do that. Regarding her career, yes, she did scale back all those years, but she did keep part-time. So while she did take a hit to her earnings, she stayed relevant and was able to take a promotion that she had been offered in the past but had declined so as to keep her lower, flexible hours. Also, I will note, the kids are now 14 and 15, so childcare is not a concern anymore and hasn't been for a few years now. However, there are still logistical things like appointments and extracurricular activities that would be easier to handle if she didn't work full-time. But also, now her ex is responsible for those things 50% of the time, so there's that. All in all, I've taken the comments to heart, including the "you are the asshole and everyone sucks here" ones, and I am going to sincerely apologize to my sister. Divorce is traumatic any way you slice it, and I should have tried to change the topic if I was getting tired of her venting. Straight honesty probably could have waited a year, when she'll hopefully be better adjusted to the circumstances. Thanks again everyone. Not the asshole. She needed a reality check and you just happened to be the one to give it to her. Not the asshole for trying to stop her falsely victimizing herself. Not the asshole. As somebody who just saw my brother lose most custody because he left his wife after she cheated on him, and has to pay a crazy amount of child support because she currently isn't working, I wish they would have brought that level of unfairness upon him. Thank you for being a voice of reason, because truth be told she could say that in front of the wrong person who knows her situation that actually got effed by the court and upset them pretty badly. How oblivious. Not the asshole. Tell her again. Did she make significantly less than her ex and that was why she was surprised at the 50-50 split? Not the asshole. Supporting a victim mentality doesn't help anyone. NTA. You just stated the obvious. Divorce is costly, even if you are the higher-earning spouse, and at least a temporary downgrade is expected. Your sister sounds like she didn't think the consequences of divorce through and is now upset due to financial setback. While she may need some encouragement and support, there was nothing wrong when told her that she should have known that her lifestyle would take a hit. Not the asshole, but honestly, I'm unsure if anyone is really. Even our loved ones, we don't owe them 100% of our time, emotion, attention 100% of the time. That's not possible, and we'll wear ourselves out if we try. Could you have been more delicate? Sure. Could she have been more mindful of how playing the same drum can eventually erode at her sister's empathy? Also sure. The way I see it, it's not worth more than a sincere apology, but only if you do feel bad for coming across how you did. Your emotions are valid too, so there's no reason to apologize for how you feel, just the execution. Maybe if things cool down y'all can have an honest conversation on how everyone involved may have to make some adjustments in the short term but in the long term, and ultimately it's for the best. Am I the asshole for not giving a stamp from my collection to a child? Long-time lurker, first-time poster. No cross-posting to other platforms, websites, social media apps. Excuse formatting, typos as I'm posting from mobile. M entitled Mother. A bit of background. I, 26F, collect postage stamps. It's my hobby and my zen, however, I take it very seriously. I am a topical collector, meaning I target specific themes. My hardest-hitting topic is flowers. I have been working extremely hard on my flower collection, 64-page stamp album. I love it dearly and I'd take it to my grave. Story. I'm getting my car serviced at my dealership. I was told the wait time will be almost 2 hours. I figured no issue. I have my flower stamp book and some unsorted stamps in my backpack. I'll just sit and catalog them into my album. I'm sitting at a table in the corner, pull out my stamp tweezers and start working when a small child of about 3-4 years old runs by my table. We make eye contact for a moment, I smile, then she runs off. This repeats about 3 more times, but I don't pay it much mind. About 5 minutes later a lady come up to me and says my stamps are pretty. I said thank you, and told her I have been working on this album for almost a year and a half and that I was excited to show it off at the stamp show coming up in a few weeks. She said her kid wants one of my stamps. I tell her that this stamp album has a lot of hard work and effort put into it and I don't want to give out any stamps. I offer her the name of the local stamp shop I frequent if her kid wants to go start her own small collection. The M again says she wants a specific stamp from my book. Again, I said no, these are mine, and they are precious. The M then says, she only wants this one, and forcefully put here bare fingers directly onto one of my mint, unused, well valued, in my heart, stamps. In the philatelic world, this is the ultimate, unforgivable sin. Oils from your fingers will ruin stamps and decrease their value. Always use tweezers to pick and handle stamps. Never touch stamps with your bare fingers, let alone someone else's stamps. I shut my album and returned it to my backpack and told the M that, I'm not giving you, or your child, anything from my collection. Please get away from me. At this point many people were staring. M freaked out, called me a selfish jerk, said her daughter just wants one stamp. I have plenty in my book, and that her daughter is going to be depressed now. I told M again to go away and leave me alone. I zipped up my backpack and held it in my lap. Both went and sat at a nearby table and M gave me the stink look for the remainder of my time at the dealership. Few people around said I could have just given the kid a stamp I had extra of or something. This is probably true, but when it comes to my stamps I'm a bit materialistic and selfish. Most of my stamps are unique and I do have some duplicates, but all of them have a home in my album and are loved dearly. So, am I the asshole? Edit. Apparently people don't think this is real because I was randomly carrying around stamps. I have only been collecting 2 years and only get my stamps from one local stamp shop. I literally just came from said local stamp shop. I always carry around my topical album if I plan on going to the stamp shop. I will organize my stamps wherever, as long as I am alone, I'm not outdoors, and have ample space. It's my hobby. Edit 2. It was not a high catalog value stamp. It was part of a set of 10 with a SCV of $19. Not the asshole. Said her daughter, just wants one stamp. And you, Mom, just have to tell her one word. No. Not the asshole. She touched the stamp. Op could have said, that was a very valuable stamp and you touching it just made it almost worthless. I need your information because I am going to sue you to recover my investment in that stamp. Not the asshole. They're yours. You aren't required to give your property away for free. Like TF? Not the asshole. Holy shit, bare oily nasty hands. Shit. When we went near my dad's stamp and coin collections we had to have our hands behind our backs. Not the asshole. The kid is spoiled and her mom is rude and entitled. Not the asshole. The mother is definitely the selfish jerk in this case. This would have been a perfect learning moment for her child. You can't always get what you want. Though it seems the mother never learned this lesson herself. Not the asshole. I don't care how many stamps, or whatever, you have. No one has the right to come up to you and demand to take something you love. Nor do they have the right to touch your collection. The people who said you could have given the kid one of the stamps were being jerks also. They have no idea the value your collection has for you. You also do not reward someone who comes up and demands something if yours. Not the asshole. Who puts their hands on other people's belongings like that? Side note. PLS share your album. This post low-key got me a little interested in starting a stamp collection and it'd be nice to know what an album looks like. Am I the asshole for not inviting my neighbors to live with us just because their house burned down? I'm an electrician and I sometimes do pro bono work for people in need. But because of the pandemic I've been slammed with paying jobs and I obviously need to take those so I can pay my mortgage and feed my family. We've had these neighbors for the past several years who my wife, a genuinely good soul, often gives clothes and old toys. We have kids that are similar in ages and even though I don't love my kids playing with theirs, they often get in trouble with the law stealing, vandalizing things. I don't say anything because I understand they come from a difficult situation. I guess the last time they were over they mentioned they didn't have power at their house and my wife asked me to go check it out. I didn't want to get involved but because our property butts against theirs and I want to build a patio, pool area that might encroach upon their land I thought it would be smart to help them out and buy some goodwill. On Saturday I brought all my tools and stuff and checked out the wiring situation and I saw it was an absolute mess. I don't know if they tried to do it themselves or if they had paid some crackhead to do it, but bringing it up to code would be an enormous task taking weeks or months. They claimed it worked fine before it went out in a storm a couple weeks ago, but I can't believe that's true. I know that there's no way they could afford to pay to complete the job, so I told them I would come whenever I could, but it couldn't be my priority. I somehow managed to restore power to most of the lights and appliances, and they were pretty grateful. So, this is where the story kind of takes a turn for the worse. Last Sunday their house burned down. No one was injured, except their 2 dogs who died. And apparently they are telling their friends that it only happened because of whatever I did when I fixed their power. This is ridiculous, as it was clusterfuck before I even got there, and until the firemen complete the investigation, we won't know exactly how the fire started. I haven't mentioned this to anyone, but I know for a fact their 12-year-old loves fire, and I wouldn't be surprised if he started it by accident or intentionally. We have a pretty big house. My father built it himself in the 1920s. We have 3 extra bedrooms, and my wife wants to offer them to our neighbors while they figure out what to do next. I am not on board with this at all. I don't know how long they would be staying, and the father has been telling his redneck friends he thinks it's my fault. To me, it seems like a disaster waiting to happen. My wife thinks I'm being selfish and cruel. Last night I put my foot down, however, and told my wife they cannot stay with us, even if this means the mom and the kids have to stay in a women's shelter. She thinks I'm a huge asshole and isn't speaking to me, but it's my home, and I think offering it to another family is a huge commitment. Am I the asshole? And #X200B. Edit. One detail that I haven't shared with anyone is I've been thinking of buying more property, and they have about 2 acres. If we owned that, we would have a lot more privacy, and I could build a couple houses for my kids or my elderly parents to move into. Even before this whole thing happened, I was planning on making an offer that I think they would accept because I know they need the money. And because our families are close, I would let them lease the, now burned down, house so my kids wouldn't lose their friends. Not the asshole. Do not let them in your house. You said the 12-year-old likes fire. What if he decides to play with fire in your home? This family has sad, hard circumstances, but they have been in legal trouble for vandalizing and stealing. Who is to say they didn't short the wires to burn the house down, claim insurance and sue you? Not the asshole. This is why house insurance exists. I'd be wary of offering to buy their land though, as it could lend argument, motive to their claims of you burning down their house to cash in on the opportunity. Definitely wait out the official investigation. And to echo the others, do not open your house to them if there is risk that their kid could have started that fire. Not the asshole. Call a lawyer today if you haven't already. This is a messy situation and you need to protect yourself and your family. Stop talking to these people immediately and start documenting everything they say to you. This can get ugly quickly. Normally you'd be an asshole, but your neighbors are attempting to pin this fire on you by claiming your electrical work did this. Plus, the fact that they've got a 12-year-old who may or may not be a pyromaniac, which is a huge concern. Why the hell would you offer your home to people under those 2 circumstances alone? Not the asshole. Your wife needs a serious reality check. They are bad-mouthing you and your work as a thank you for your free help, even though they know their wiring was street. This could have serious consequences for you professionally speaking, and your wife wants to help them further? Yeah, no, you are absolutely not the asshole. Not the asshole. Don't invite manipulative criminals into your home. That's pretty basic stuff. Your wife's proposal is idiotic. Not the asshole. He is blaming you for the fire so he could use you taking them in as a sign of a guilty conscience. They will run roughshod over your wife if they do move in. Plus, there's no telling what could happen with a potential firebug in the house. Let her have her space while the fire department does their thing. Hopefully these people had insurance. Jesus. Offer on the property now and it'll look like you deliberately booby-trapped the house. You need to have an honest talk with your wife about your concern that the kids are criminal and possibly one a pyro. And listen to what she has to say, too. Your story feels like it has some big holes or justifications, so much that I can't give a judgment.